ever wondered why some people seem to recover faster, heal completely, and live with more peace even while facing life challenges? Most of the time, even bigger challenges and trauma. What if healing is bigger than what you've been told all your life? Like treatment, going through continuous interventions and management. What if one of the most powerful tools has been there in your body all along? This is the show where we break that pattern and dig deep into your innate healing potential, your body's intelligence that you already possess, that you have the capacity to tap into, heal from majority of the chronic health conditions. And this is where we break into the science, the neuroscience of your healing chemicals, healing pharmacy that is staying dormant, and with the help of God. Of course, with the help of God, because this is where science meets spirituality. Before any next treatment or any management, why don't you stay quiet? Take some time with yourself, calm down, and listen to your soul's voice. A quiet knowing. And then take the action, because when you quiet and listen to your soul's voice, you will know what actually you are supposed to be doing when it's come to your health. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Healing Frequencies right here from mid-north coast of New South Wales, Australia. When I first came to Australia, I think few months later, I started these wheat allergies and how I completely healed myself. And so many of my clients, and of course, food allergies completely healed. 9-year-old Nathan, they had severe allergies. Once I was at a conference in Sydney, so we were just introducing ourselves, and this couple there, they asked me what I do. I said, I'm a health coach. What do you do, health coach? I said, I help people heal from chronic health conditions. And then the wife asked, oh, can you heal my son? What's the problem? She said, we are really suffering for the past 9 years. He was then 9 years old. Food allergies ever since he was 6 months old. It's literally constricted their lifestyle. Traveling was an anxious ordeal. They have to pack what food he can eat. Even little things. He was allergic to bread, so many different items, and all the way to nuts. And they were using medications. Even they have EpiPen just in case. It was a severe health conditions, and the entire family was suffering. They paid a lot of healthcare professionals. They seeked all the avenues, and with the grace of God, I was able to heal him completely. He's weaned off the medications, and he can eat everything. Can you believe? And interestingly enough, we never even spoke about the word of God during this coaching time. A very short coaching. I only coach the parents, not even the child. The child has no idea. The first and foremost, my job was to tap into the healing potential of Nathan, and that's what I did with the use of self-heal sequence. Of course, I prayed to God to deliver a good job for Nathan, because my entire intention was to heal him completely, and that was my only desire. So I would do anything that would help Nathan heal from allergies, and that led to, with the full cooperation of the parents, mother and the dad. So I was to coach both of them together and then separately, because each of their belief systems were different, because now that they have seen the allergic reactions in Nathan's body every time he ate the food, and the next of kins, their grandparents, what language they were to speak, and worked with their beliefs to show them the neuroscience, how they can completely heal their son. And just they need to, as a team, to tap into his healing potential. That's what we did as the entire team. And then the father was completely make them to understand this is how our immune system works. This is how the antihistamines and histamines roles, immune system roles, and the pure science of allergy creation, and then the healing process and the tools and everything. Then I have to take the mom separately and coach again, because she was the one prime caretaker, cook the food and feed the child and everything. How to it's not about how to avoid, because we're not here to talk about the avoidance, because you probably, if you are suffering from allergies, you must be an expert in avoiding. But we are not here to avoid, we are here to completely heal, because science shows now that avoidance actually creates more intense allergic reactions. Just in case if you accidentally eat it, even it can be life-threatening. So what we do is totally different way. It's something called desensitizing. I do not recommend this to do it at home at all, because it can be dangerous. Do not, whatever you're doing it, follow your doctor's guidance. But this is for the people who wanted to completely heal and to know and give you the knowledge, and this can be done with the support of a health professional, definitely. And then what language to speak to Nathan, what are in their home environment, what their perception of the allergic conditions, the total education and rewiring the mother's neural pathways, because there is always a fear, because this is the son that they love. They don't want anything to go wrong. But then it wasn't so hard for me, because they already knew inside that what they were doing was only covering up the symptoms. They were not completely healing. So they knew what they wanted, and their soul's desire was completely healing. So that made my job even easier to provide all the tools and handhold them into tap into Nathan's self-healing potential for allergies. And so stick around. This will be an eye-opener for you if you have heard from your healthcare professionals totally opposite of what you're about to hear, and everything will be backed by science. And of course, it's much easier if you can have a faith, a God, or whomever that you look up to, because that's when our immune system settles, our fight or flight settles. And that's coming. And I recently faced an allergic condition for out of the blue, nowhere. It just appears, and at night you feel like that's a scary part. And I didn't even have antihistamine, and I thought, okay, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm going to the doctor. Fortunately, with the grace of God, because I was praying and I was applying all my tools that I preach about, and that, but still the condition worsened. It didn't, but I never gave up the hope and the belief. It's just a temporary. And I worked on the fear. How is my fear? Because it's so scary. Sometimes it's inevitable. The fear is coming into your body, and that can worsen the allergic conditions, the flare-ups and everything. And I worked on that for a few hours, middle of the night, and it just settled. As the morning I woke up with no allergy at all. And I still went to the pharmacy and bought antihistamine just in case if I needed, but I never needed it. So that's my testimony of just a day flare up. And then 20 years ago, I completely healed when doctors said different stories, and so many of my clients, and of course, around the world, there are people who completely healed. So it's really up to you. Whatever you believe, it's true to you, because your subconscious will bring you evidence. And if you think you can't, it will bring you evidence that you can't. If you believe you can, your subconscious mind, the reticular activating system, will bring you evidence to prove that you can. So which one do you believe? It's really up to you. Before we go into our neuroscience of allergic conditions, how you can heal, let's listen to our radio riddle. A man goes to his wife and says, "I'm going to the gym to lose my belly." Wife says, "Oh, great. How long are you going for?" He said, 20 years. Okay. Laughter is one of the greatest medicine when it's come to healing your chronic health conditions. So make sure that you divert your mind and laugh out as many times as possible in a day. And talking about the diversional therapy, I'm not going to take you to a travel destination simply because the condition that we are talking about, allergies, is massive and have so much to cover. So I thought I'm going to dedicate the entire 2 hours to find out the neuroscience and the reactions, our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions, our language, our actions, our experiences, and our God and everything. And the other thing is that I'm going away to Europe next Sunday. Coming Sunday in 2 days. I'm traveling to Scotland because my nephew is getting married. And also after that, I'm going to Switzerland for 8 days, which is I'm really looking forward to because I haven't been to Switzerland yet. It's been in my bucket list for quite a long time because my father used to live there and work there. He lived about 7 years, and every photograph that he used to send, it's like postcard. You can enlarge it and hang it on your wall. They were that beautiful. So when I come back, probably I will take you to the Switzerland for a diversional therapy. Let's move on to finding out about the allergy. It's very important to understand your conditions and know the neuroscience of it and how your body, your genetic makeup, your DNA, your experiences, your nurturing, the nature you grew up in, these are all influence in creating, managing, or even completely healing chronic health conditions. Remember, in our previous shows, I talked about one of my colleagues back in Sydney at Prince of Wales Hospital. He was thinking about mango and he started to get allergic reaction physiologically in his body. Is an absolute evidence that he was not allergic to mango. It was the memory that triggering the same reaction. And of course, the science proved that's exactly as it is, because the first, second, and the third, whatever the experience can be real, but the consecutive experiences can be perceived or it can be real. But majority of the time is the fear of that we're going to have an allergic reaction is what actually creates the physiological allergy. Can you believe? This is very interesting science that I'm going to break it down. So once you understand, then you have the power to tap into your own healing potential with the help of God, of course, and to heal allergies completely so that you are not imprisoned by these conditions, because it can be debilitating, especially when it comes to traveling, or you going to places, visiting family members, or going and staying with your friend. It's always nerve-wracking, always scary things. And also when it's come to kids and children, how do you want them to live dependent on the medication for their entire life with that fear of any time you can be having these allergic reactions, and most of the time it can also be life-threatening situations. So stay tuned. What we're going to do, as we always do, let's start with the faith and God, because everything is possible with God. When we have the faith and believe in God, we surrender. Our ego goes submissive. When our ego is heightened, it's very difficult to heal our chronic conditions. And also when we surrender, we create an equilibrium in our physiology to create healing hormones such as endorphin, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, and narcotics. A lot of the pain medications can be created because our body is a chemical factory. So let's start with a declaration. God, you said you formed my body, that you knit me together with your own hands. So I say it back to you now. Repeat after me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm strong, I'm whole, I'm at peace with the world you made. Whether it is bad or good, I am at peace with the world you made. So there is any bad thing or a good thing, there is always a learning to be learned. That is why it's been put into my experience. And I have an immune system built by you, and it was built to protect me. I have defenses that answer to their maker, and today they go quiet, they go dormant. I have a body that hears my voice, and I am speaking peace over it now. I have healing already moving through me, cell by cell, breath by breath. God, you said the world you made is good, so I am walking back into it, and my body is coming home because I have forgiven the people that hurt me. I have forgiven the world. I have forgiven. I'm at peace with whatever is happening, because if I am agitated, if I am anxious, I cannot heal my chronic condition. So I'm at peace with my friends, my colleagues, my family, and even myself. I have no guilt over my own actions because I surrender everything to you, and I am at peace. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Healing Frequencies right here in Nambucca Heads, New South Wales, Australia, with me, Amutha Kan. Now let's break into, I don't know, sometimes I'm really confused with in or on or at. When I was learning English, I had no idea. In the bus or on the bus, I'll go to my friends and I'll say in the bus or on the bus. I don't know, whatever it was. That's what I find English is so challenging. But English is one of the most elegant, beautiful language. But sometimes they can be really annoying and frustrating. Things like that, and the same word has got so many different meaning. Let's move on to the neuroscience of allergic conditions, shall we? And how the brain, our immune system, all works, and how our body and mind communicate. Allergic conditions are not only immune reactions, they involve a complex communication network between the brain, nervous system, immune system, your hormones, and your environment. and this field is called psychoimmunology, the study of how psychological states, the nervous system, and immunity influence between each of them. In the surface, the brain learns threat and the immune system responds. If you remember, when we start introducing solid food to little babies, most of the time when they're about 6 months also, the body interprets this as a foreign object and it reacts and responds to that. That's why as we introduce new food to little babies, they tend to have this redness, itchiness. And if you have paid attention to how our body functions, and you will be in a better position to deal with this kind of so-called allergic reactions. And unfortunately, a lot of the parents react, and the fear comes in when whether we like it or not, little children mirror the emotions of their parents, often their caretaker or the person they closely bonded with. They mirror the emotions, they get that emotions, and they create then further down the line more severe allergic conditions, especially if the parents are in a, don't take this as a blame or anything, because we all do, because as long as you love your children, the first thing with love comes is fear. Or what's wrong with my child? So that's a normal thing. Almost all of the parents panic and scared when the baby is having this. So of course you have to go get it checked, but it's knowing the awareness of, because I am talking this from my mother's point of view. We never went to the doctors. My mom is 72 years old, never once been to the doctor. She's so healthy and strong. And we all never went to. So she definitely dealt with all of these conditions, and also science, the neuroscience side of it, what it proves. So the immune system is designed to protect the body from danger. So as they introduce new foods, it detects as a danger because it's a foreign body. In allergies, the immune system becomes highly sensitive to substances that are usually harmless. So, for instance, pollen, dust mites, certain food, animal danger, environmental chemicals, even food, and a lot of the nuts and weeds, so many different triggers that create allergic reactions. Allergen exposure, the process is, once you get exposed, your immune system will recognize it and it releases an antibody called IgE antibody, and that activates the mast cell. Then the inflammatory chemicals being released. So this is the usual process of any allergic exposure as a threat, as a danger in our body. So it's a natural reaction to protect our body from external unwanted stuff in our body. Mast cells release substances such as histamine, prostaglandins. I know there's a little bit of jargon, just bear with me, because you don't need to remember all these things, but know a little bit of what actually going on, because your body is the temple. And how can life be successful if we don't have our health? Because health is the greatest wealth. So just bear with me a little bit of it. Mast cells release substances such as histamine, prostaglandins, leukotrienes, cytokines. These create symptoms like itching, sneezing, swelling, mucus productions, skin reactions, and airway narrowing. The brain role is to detect these foreign that interprets as unwanted substance in our body. So our brain constantly evaluates the internal and external environment through a few part of the brains that we often talk about. I think few shows ago we talked about amygdala and how it's the influence of amygdala in creating and healing chronic health conditions. The amygdala is involved in detecting threat and emotional significance. See, there is an emotional word is coming. When the brain repeatedly associates a substance or environment with a danger, it can strengthen the protective responses through learning pathways. So, the first, maybe the second reactions were real. Our bodies is innate nature to create allergic reactions. But once that become as a danger in our memory, then our brain repeatedly associates a substance that we have created the fear or the environment as a danger. And then the protective responses get more stronger. That means you will get more reactions if you haven't done the mind work or the peace work or the tapping into your inner pharmacy or praying to your God, that you'll be fine. If you haven't alleviated the fear, which then stress is nothing but a bunch of negative emotions. Majority of the time is fear of, oh, I'm going to get the reaction again. Just thinking about it is more dangerous than the actual allergy, the allergen. For example, a person experiences a severe allergic reaction after eating a food. Later, even thinking about that food, smelling it, or entering the environment may activate stress response. That's what I talked about the mango story. But what I am actually giving you is the scientific evidence of it. This does not mean allergy are imaginary. It means the nervous system can influence your immune system. Our immune system is directly linked to our emotions. You can attest to this when we are going through a lot of stress or some anger, some frustration, some life negative events happen, fearful situations happen, or even mass consciousness that we talked about. Majority of the world populations are in negative state of mind, like a war or some financial losses happening. Then we tend to get that similar emotions, and during that time also our immune system weakens, or at the same time it can overreact to create these allergic reactions. It's really depending on your thought pattern, your belief system, your genetic makeup and your environment, your way of nurturing. What are your experiences? There are multiple factors that influences our allergic conditions, and how quickly can you heal, or it's a lifelong conditions. Either way, it has got multiple influences. Let's have a look at the stress response and allergies. Hypothalamus, which is part of our brain. Pituitary gland is also in our brain, and the adrenal gland axis, HPA axis, are connected to each other when it comes to stress. Chronic stress, science, this is neuroscience proof, chronic stress can affect our cortisol pattern. Inflammatory regulations, because during allergic reactions, our body is going into the inflammatory state. Inflammations are happening. and it also influences the immune balance and mast cell behavior. Long-term nervous system activation can increase inflammatory sensitivity in some people. Research shows stress can influence allergic disease, including asthma. Asthma is a major subject, condition we should cover in a separate show, and is often emotional, science now proving. And then the other allergic reactions can be eczema not necessarily 100% emotional, but there are some aspect of it. And also allergic rhinitis, now science proves that it's stress induced majority of the time, not all of the time. The mast cells, the bridge between mind and immunity. Mast cells are immune cells found near the nerves, blood vessels, skins, lungs, and digestive tract. So you can see when you are going through allergic conditions, it affects our blood, our skin, our lungs. That's why our airway narrows when it's in serious conditions. And of course, it affects our gut, digestive tract. They communicate directly with the nervous system. Nerve signals can influence mast cells' activity through chemicals such as substance P, neuropeptides, inflammatory messengers. This creates a feedback loop. Brain signals, and then it goes to nerves, and then it activates mast cells that creates inflammation, then it signals back to brain and becomes a memory, and the memory creates a fear in the future when we even thinking about it, or we attract because we worried about that we're going to have allergies, and we end up manifesting allergic creation. So this is a loop, a snowball effect. Before we go into the vagus nerve influence when it's come to allergic reactions, and also I'm going to give you the story about how I completely healed from wheat allergies. That was 20 years ago when I first arrived in Australia. And also my client stories are coming up. Stage. Welcome ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to 2NVR 105.9 FM. Time now is 53 minutes past 9 o'clock. We are almost moving into our next hour. I have an exciting news. We're going to talk about a brand new allergic conditions. As I was speaking, one of my colleagues mentioned that she loves this topic today because, as I mentioned, almost all of us probably have experienced some sort of allergic conditions, and she's been having a tetanus injection. After having a tetanus injection, she created these allergic conditions, and it's ongoing. What the doctor said and what's all happening is coming soon. So stay tuned, and let's move on to the vagus nerve in relation to allergic conditions. The vagus nerve is a major communication pathway between the brain and our organs. It influences inflammation control, immune regulation, digestion, heart rate, and our stress. A regulated nervous system can support healthier immune responses through pathways such as, again, I'm so sorry about the jargon, cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway. A regulated nervous system can support healthier immune responses through pathways such as cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway, where nerve signals help reduce excessive inflammation. Ways that stimulates parasympathetic activity slow breathing, prayer and meditation, gratitude practices, gentle movement, singing, connection, a lot of the other meditative practices that we often talk about. The gut-brain immune connection. Before we go into the gut-brain immune connection, which is that relevant to Nathan's story, I talk about how he completely healed from severe food allergies. Let's talk about the tetanus injection allergy that my colleague just mentioned. She just walked into the studio. Amazing. I'm so glad that I have such a good friend, a colleague to chat with. So what actually happens when it's come to vaccine or not, and this is again another subject, I have planned it, a vaccine just for a complete show, because a lot of people, should I have vaccine? Should I not have vaccine? Okay, so often when the COVID happened, a lot of people came and asked me, should I have the vaccine or not have vaccine? I often tell them it depends. See, this is how vaccine works. So, before our generation used to suffer from polio, so the vaccine was a miracle medicine. It came and the polio has been eradicated. So there are benefits a lot of the time. But at the same time, so simple things like common flu. And for some people, if your immune system's weaker or your age or you're always been having vaccines, you may have to. But what actually happens is, when it's come to annual flu and so forth, our body needs that exposure to the environment. So your immune system needs a bacteria or a virus into your body to be able to create the resistance and make your body stronger. But this does not apply for everybody. It really depends. So when it's come to, say, for example, take an example of the virus. Even though, because I got into trouble in Perth, I talked about COVID is just another flu. How do you not get the flu? Is don't watch TV, because TV just exaggerated, because news, they make money by selling scary stories. Otherwise, they're out of business. They have to make you scared, only then they are in the business. And the other day somebody was asking, how do I not get bird flu? Don't watch TV, you won't get bird flu. It's as simple. But seriously speaking, when you talk about, say, okay, COVID, vaccine or no vaccine, I had the vaccine because I work in the health system. But if I was not working in the health system, I would choose not to have it, not because the vaccine is bad or not bad, how your belief system works. So if somebody is so scared after watching all the news, people dropping and dying of the COVID, and that fear is real, because the news has been showing the real stories. Maybe it happened to 1 or 2 people, but this is exaggerate. Out of 8 billion, 2 people died. Like, come on, the normal flu kills more people than the COVID. That is not showing on TV. So if they have created the real fear, once they contracted COVID, the fear itself will kill, not necessarily the COVID, because it creates that's what we've been talking about. Come on. So if you already had that fear, it's beneficial to have the vaccine, so that, okay, I had the vaccine, so the fear dissipates. So either way, it's a win-win. But if you are so strong mind, like my mom doesn't, this virus can't kill me. She's like that. The way she speaks, it cannot kill, because that's in her entire physiology. So she was exposed to, a lot of people come because she has a chicken farm at home. She sells chicken. So a lot of people came. Even the government officials came to her house to give vaccine. She refused. But you have to be like such strong mindset, like my mom. You have to have a strong mindset. If not, an average person, it's beneficial to have the vaccine so that the fear dissipates, so that your immune system is stronger. It's beneficial for you and for the people around you. It's good, and you become a role model. And my family asked, I said, you go ahead and have the vaccine, because I'm a role model for them and I wanted to show them that's beneficial. But not in all the cases. So for my friend here, for my colleague, she had a tetanus, diphtheria vaccine back 3 years ago, and tetanus can be good. I don't know whether, I haven't done any looking up or searching or researching. I'm just speaking off the cuff as soon as I spoke with her. But tetanus is often good for you. It prevents you from infections. If you had a metal injury or a animal bite, it is really protect you from severe problems in the future. That's how I know. And tetanus is often, if I remember, you only need to have once in 10 years or something like that. I don't know when I last had, but I definitely had tetanus. So for some people, as we said, it's the same thing. It's a foreign object. Our body is vigilant. Our immune system is vigilant. It's going to react. We said that newborn, we introduce the food and the food react. And my brother's kids, oh gosh, all of them completely hit. All of the kids created allergic reactions, but we are all in the same kind of mentality and they didn't panic. So the kids just grown out of it. When it's come to something little bit severe than normal reaction after having a vaccine, my friend had a redness around that area. There is often a fear which is automatically triggers a reaction or that activates your immune system as danger, and it overreacts, and that is what is allergy. That's what we talked about all this time for the first hour. Our immune system overreacts for a normal substance such as food or a foreign body such as a tetanus injection. And she created this pink stuff and she ignored it. And then it came another one. And then they say, remember, the first one is real. The second one can be real or perceived. Means the first one is a real reaction, and then we contemplate and we think, oh, something could be wrong, and then the fear kicks in, and that goes into the big process of all the fight or flight and danger, and the immune system overreact, and then it creates more and more and more. So this is so hard for any one of us to challenge. I will use this word, challenge our own mindset is the only way if you want to completely heal. I'm not saying not to go to doctor. You must go to doctor and see it. But how is your fear status doing? How is your mindset is doing? Are you going to lose anything? Okay, it's just a reaction, it'll go away. Or is the fear is taking over? That's why the consciousness is very, very important when it's come to healing allergies. You must be conscious about your thought pattern and your emotional status that relevant to that reaction, and your language. And have you spoken to a few people? And if you've spoken to a few people, that your closer circle, and then if they have given you negative feedback, that feeds your fear, the danger further, and you create more reactions. And even worse, if you go ahead and 3 years ago probably Google or something, you Google it, they will give you the most scariest, even if it's giving 5 reasons why it's worse, it can get worse, or 5 reasons it can get better. Our brain is inclined to pick up the negative story is stronger than the positive. So it goes as a memory, and without even we intentionally thinking, it goes into our subconscious mind. It's play a loop. What if this is something wrong? And it goes into our DNA makeup and become a memory. Remember, it's not the allergy actually create the illness, the allergic reactions, but the memory of it. If she has the vaccine on the upper arm here, then if she is having on the lower arm and around the backside, the entire backside, you can clearly see it is the memory that creating the same physiological reactions. So my friend went to the doctor and they diagnosed her as though she was having spongiatic dermatitis. She never heard of that before. I know the medical system have come up with all these brand new fancy words. It's unnecessary. But sometimes, because I work in the health system, we need a term so that we can treat individuals accordingly. So they're there for a reason, not for us to get the label. Do not ever identify with the label. Once you identify, it becomes you. Once it's becoming you, it's so challenging to heal completely if you choose to. And then even when it's been labeled by a health professional, often your doctor or your healthcare, that becomes like set in stone. No, doctor is not a god. He has not created your body. They can help you heal. They can help you treat. They can help manage your condition. They can help not get worse. But only God can heal, because in your body, God resides. He lives, because your body is a temple of your God. Once you submit, you trust, once you imagine, see, all these allergic reactions are happening at night. What else do you have other than God? Tell me if you want to challenge. There is no God. I can argue with no God. I can argue with yes God. I would go with there is God, because that's what is going to alleviate my anxiety 2 a.m. at night when my body is flaring up. Who else? How else can you create your healing chemicals in your body 2 a.m. at night? How else can you, because your physiology is telling a different story. What else do you have? You can do this yourself. Okay, absolute faith. You must be absolute bit of doubt, and then you have to go to your doctor. It's as simple. Absolute faith. There should not be, unless you're so strong mind like my mom. My mom is an unbeliever, and she can heal her body just like that, because she learned from a childhood, because she was never taken to doctor, because she didn't have a mother, died soon after her birth. So she's been raised with her stepmother, who was a witch. So my mom as a child learned to heal her body, so she became so strong. She has no other option. So ingrained in her blood and DNA, how she said, no, nothing can kill me. And you can see in her world how people talk, you can tell whether they can self-heal or not. It's as simple. So number one thing is to believe. Yes, I'm having, because often we can change our belief, but the manifestation in our physiology take little bit of time. There is a time lapse, because it has become a memory, because this actually happened in your reality. I can sit here and talk to you for hours, but I'm not the one experienced. You experience this in your physiology. So it has become your memory. So once you change your belief that this is temporary, this is going to go away, there is a catching up time for that, depending on how quickly. But with God, it's even possible. That's why if you see a lot of people go through very strong declaration, that's why we say declarations here. They can be really powerful and untangle your neural pathways, tap into your subconscious mind, and activate your pineal gland in an instant to create that illness. That is the power of God and faith. So now that you have created the belief, okay, this is temporary, it will go away, then your thoughts changes, then your emotions will follow, because our emotions, the fear related, will follow what we thought, because there is a pink mark. I thought something that could be wrong, that follows the emotion. Emotions play along with all of your immune system, nervous system, amygdala, parasympathetic, immune system, vagus nerves, all of it. Then sometimes it's challenging to change our emotions. That's why we have prayers. We pray, we submit, we surrender to God, help me. And then your body become equilibrium. You create endorphin. You need endorphin for calm down your immune system, because your body is a chemical factory. And then to even work with your histamines, your body can produce antihistamine naturally, because this is now neuroscience. Now we will continue with that story. You are with me, Amutha Kan, listening to Healing Frequencies right here from the mid-north coast of New South Wales, Australia. This is where we talk about chronic health conditions and how you have the healing potential within to completely heal from majority of the chronic health conditions. And we talk about the neuroscience of your own body and how we create illnesses. It's so important to know that we create illnesses only and only then you have the power to heal completely. If I think it's just happening, then I feel powerless and I feel hopeless and I leave everything to the doctor's hand and I go whatever they say. But that is not you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have tuned in right here. And also the most important thing is this is where neuroscience meet God. Yes, of course, with Almighty God, everything is possible because your body is creation of Him. Your body is a temple where your God lives in. So always submit, believe, and surrender to God. That does not mean you don't take action. This is where people do understand. This is where people say that, okay, I am a believer, I have a lot of faith, but why then I am suffering? I prayed. I tell them, you're praying in the wrong way. Does not matter which God you are praying. And some people say, it's only my God. And I heard one of the Christian preacher talking about telling my religion or my God is something like filling your bathtub with water and calling it as a Pacific Ocean. See, does not matter. It's what works for you. God definitely works for you. Does not matter which God, whatever the God that you believe in God. And that's when we create equilibrium in our body. Now, when I first came to Australia through 2005, like in Sri Lanka, we never ate wheat bix. There's no wheat bix. We ate roti or those, a lot of carbohydrates, roti or all these carbohydrate-rich food. When I came to Australia and I started working straight away, and we are always in the rush, so we can't be cooking all this traditional food. So we became dependent on wheats and oats, which is really healthy food anyway. And I was often starting to get this itchy nose and then itchy ears. And I thought that was so annoying. I couldn't sit on a table and do my work because I am constantly touching my nose and scratching my ear. What is this? Because up until then, I never remember having any allergies. I never had it. And all of a sudden, I have something. And then I thought, okay, this is so frustrating. I need to go see a doctor. I went to see a doctor, and they did a blood test and gave me a report that I am allergic to wheat grass. Okay, wheat grass. Where did they go? Wheat grass eat? I didn't eat wheat grass. But then I found out I've been eating Weet-Bix. So I was allergic to Weet-Bix. My doctor said, you are allergic to Weet-Bix. Do not touch Weet-Bix. I know, I'm a health coach. The bad thing about avoidance, when it's come to food allergy, the more you avoid, the scarier it gets, because your body creates more, it becomes more dangerous, and it creates more allergic reactions. So doesn't mean don't go ahead and eat food, right? You need a proper doctor if you want to desensitize the food that you want to alleviate the allergy from the food. But because this is my expertise area, so I know, then I'm 100% confident, then I can do this. All I did, that slowly I started Weet-Bix more often than before, and I never took medication because it wasn't a severe allergy. So it was no big deal. I continuously ate Weet-Bix up until it went away. But then later found out, and what actually happening, unfortunately, there are chemicals in certain, and what I also noticed that I definitely ate wheat product, pure wheat flour based roti and bread. I did not have the same allergic reaction. That means there can be chemicals or preservatives that been incorporated in this food, and that can actually create allergies. So that was my case. But then I still eat Weet-Bix. I have a big box of Weet-Bix in my pantry. Completely gone. That was 20 years ago. And definitely I told you that recently I probably think it was the mite, because I got 2 cats, the dust mites, that created my entire body started to flare up. That was so scary. That was only one night healed. That's it, no more. And because my mindset was so strong and set in that I can heal, that nothing can come against, and it was possible for me. And before I talk about how Nathan completely healed, that's one of my clients, and a few other stories, let's have a look at some scientific research, how stress and allergies related. The studies now shows us the stress makes allergies worse. Stress means nothing but we're fearful about. Fearful is a survival emotion, very important emotion for our survival. It's there for a reason. There's nothing bad about it. It's been measured in a laboratory on a skin. The number one study I wanted to give it to you is called the WHEAL study, WHEAL study. Researchers took allergy sufferers and gave them a standard skin prick test. Then they put them through a stressful task. Then they measured the reaction again. The wheals, the raised wells on the skin were bigger under stress, and the effect was still there the next day. Same allergen, same person, same body, different stress level, bigger reaction. Among 166 people with persistent allergic rhinitis, 73% screened positive for psychological distress. That's a distressing number. Nearly 3/4. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and its job is to calm inflammation. But when stress runs high and for consistent period of time, the system dysregulates. The immune cells stop listening to cortisol's calming signal, so instead of settling your immune response, the stress heightens it. And the alarm systems gets more louder. It becomes a loop. We flare up. That's why you see people flare up often during an emotional, stressful event or during the lunar cycle, because we talk about this. Our brain is our entire body is same makeup as the solar system: hydrogen, oxygen, helium, nitrogen. So therefore, we get the energy, the lunar pull, and because our body is also 70% of water, our mental status changes, and some people can get into more stressful state in certain month of the lunar phase. That's the often you see flare up. People come to the hospital with allergic flare-ups, and then people panic, and it get worse, and it's a loop. And then the panic increases the stress chemistry, histamine, all sorts of things happens. So what can you do immediately? A lot of the tools that, the number one, okay, if you're for allergic, I cannot stress on this. Praying calms down. It's again science straight away, because you're putting the fear onto somebody else, your God. He's going to heal your body. So you're shifting the fight or flight, you're shifting the fear into somebody else outside, which means that can literally immediately stop. Even though physiologically it might take a little bit of time, but that can revert very quickly. But then there are so many different pathways if you are choosing to completely heal from your allergic conditions. And also you can activate the vagus nerves, how to reduce the cortisol, all these tools that we previously talked about. And in one thing that I really want to emphasize in this day and age, we are in AI day and age. A lot of people are diagnosing with AI. So there is a good and bad in AI, because I'm a hyper user of AI. I use a lot. But what I found is every time I put a symptoms or something, it has the tendency to bring in the entire world negative story. I said stop. So how do you do this? You have to program your AI DNA. I don't know if you know this, because I'm a super user. I get trained by the ChatGPT creator from America. So I know how to go into the AI and program them your way, who you are, what do you do, and how you want this to be saying. So you have to program that. Don't give me the fear mong. I don't want to know the fear, because that will create more panic in my body, and that will make the situation worse. So it's same as like when you're going to see a doctor. If a sister is going to, if you're going to a doctor saying you'll die in 6 months, if you believe you will die, it's as simple, right? That's the same thing. So if my doctor is saying, because when I had a life-threatening autoimmune system, my doctor's autoimmune disease, my doctor said that we can't save you without the surgery, going to die. I didn't believe. So I went to see 5 different doctors. So if your doctor is negative, change the doctor. It's as simple. Don't change your body, change your doctor. It's so clear. Get a second opinion, third opinion, not your peer. Because if your peer, they love you, so they will tell you all the scare story. That's not helping you. That is feeding your already scared body more threat, more danger. So you're going to get more reaction. So you need more medication. You see how it's all work? So when it's come to AI, learn how to program it, go into the memory of it, and then you can program. I think it's in the settings and go into the different AIs. I use different AIs. Probably I should do a show about this. Program it. When I give you a symptoms, give me, it could be this, but not too serious, and get medical advice, and also give me immediate mind calming tools or something like that, so that it's not giving you how AI going into AI. Okay, how AI works is it's collective. It can be really good. It can collect the 5 genius doctors and bring in this knowledge to a layman like you and me, and that's amazing. But at the same time, it can also bring you the scariest story of anybody putting any of their experience, other people's experience, only to them. It's not relevant to you. So when you listen to your friend and they say that they had that bad experience, that does not mean you should have it. But if you believe, you will get it, because your body is going into fear and danger again. So it's very important. Speak to one trusted person that you trust, or your doctor that you trust, and then pray to God and take action. If you have to take medication, you have to take medications, because you don't want to get into a worse situation, especially when we are fearful, or when even if we have a little bit of doubt. It's so important to have the medication, so that we're not making it worse. We can keep them under control, so we can protect and preserve our physiology to be able to heal in the future. You are listening to Healing Frequencies, here with me, Amutha Kan, Mid-North Coast of New South Wales, Australia. We are talking about allergy conditions, how you have the power within to completely heal from either minor or major. There are thousands and thousands, even millions of cases around the world that have completely healed from allergic conditions, and you are no exception. And if you think no, I can show you your exact conditions can be healed, even if it is in the DNA. There was a interesting study that's conducted. They picked up identical twins. What is identical twins? They have the exact DNA, chromosomes, exact DNA, and they've been having not necessarily even different environment. They grew up in the same house, but one person created allergic conditions and the other person didn't. So if your doctor says it's in the DNA, you have to question that one and then find out if this is actually true. And even if that is in your gene, then now a process called epigenetic. With epigenetic, you can rewrite your DNA makeup and heal from chronic conditions. That is called how, in simple terms, body's adaptation. Epigenetic studies how experiences influence gene activity without changing the DNA. So this is what we talk about, nurturing the environment influences, the environment that we grew up in, how it influences our health conditions. Factors that may influence immune gene expression, stress exposure, the place that we live, we grew up, and even the places we work. And this is again is come to mirror neuron. If somebody is really suffering and we empathize with them, we tend to adapt a similar kind of illnesses in our body. And of course our stress and then sleep quality play a role, because that again contribute to the stress. And when we're going through stress, our immune system can work inadvertently. And your diet pattern, of course, eat food that comes from nature, because the one example that I talk about, the wheat bix. And did you know a lot of people who have this severe allergic to peanut are often triggered allergies, especially children, just by eating peanuts butter, not the actual peanut. Who would have thought that? They had the allergic to peanut butter, and then it became in their memory they're allergic to peanut, and then they, over the course of the time, they create peanut allergies to the actual peanut. So that's a clear story that there could have been some kind of substance that in that product. So I don't know how they make this peanut butter, and that would have triggered that allergic reactions, because your body is not happy. That is not natural. So try and eat natural food or any kind of environmental exposure that are not good. And of course, more than anything is the emotional regulation, because the world that we are living in is a lot of stress in this day and age. It can be money related problem. You can think about it. When you're having a lot of money related problem, you will have allergic conditions in your body. You'll have some kind of flare up or any other chronic health conditions. Or if you're going through relationship problems, you can see your body is suffering, because then again our body is not just single. We are connected with our relationship, our community, our welfare, our financial, our environment, and the list goes on. The other thing that what I'm thinking, what I miss is the gut. Okay. Allergy, our brain and the gut are directly connected. That's what we say about gut feeling, right? Yeah, I had the gut feeling because there are neurons in our gut as well. That's why a lot of these inflammatory conditions that's been happening in our gut, such as inflammatory bowel syndrome and so many. I think I should do this one separately, but just to quick touch, the microbiome influences immune tolerance, inflammatory balance, allergic sensitivity, vagus nerves. Remember, vagus nerves run through from our brain, through our throat, through our heart, and then to the gut vagus nerve pathways. So again, if any allergic conditions that we cannot physiologically see it outside, but it's happening in our gut, are also allergic conditions. Immune messengers, hormones, and metabolism, and so forth. Science now proves that if and when you believe, because I have these allergies, my parents have, that is not true. Anything that it's been told genetic, unless it's a severe disability, it can be challenging, but majority of the chronic health conditions that been said it's genetic can be rewritten, rewired, and healed completely, even if you be labeled as genetic. So keep that in mind. Faith-based declaration. How about if we do a declaration to heal from allergic conditions? Shall we? Repeat after me. My body is created with wisdom and intelligence. My brain communicates peace and safety throughout my body. Whenever I feel like there is an allergy, I know my God has put some healing intelligence in my body, and I can surrender, and I believe 100% that I can heal. My immune system responds with balance and wisdom. Every cell receives the message of restoration. My nervous system is calm, my inflammation is balanced, and my body moves towards health and wholeness, because my body is being created by Almighty God, and He said it's whole, and He said it's good, so it must be good. No external influences, no allergies can sicken my body, because my body is God. God, you told me my body is good, and I choose thoughts, I choose emotions, words, and actions that support and heal my allergic conditions. And because I now know that I have the healing potential within my body to completely heal that allergic conditions, whatever it can be, maybe a food, and I make sure that I have my natural food, that I'm so grateful that I have even food to eat. Can you imagine? A lot of people around the world are starving. They don't even have food. In Western world, the majority of the problem is we have too much food. Full stop. We have too much food. That's a big problem. And in third world country, people seldom, they don't even talk about food allergy, man. They don't have food to eat. What food going to be allergic for them? I don't know. It's because where is our focus is the attention flows, the energy flows wherever our attention is. That's why we often talk about diversional therapy, because allergic condition is something that is so hard not to put the attention, because it's on our physiology and it's in front of our eyes. It's getting worse. If there is a redness, it's spreading, and how not to pay attention. I have a skin flare up and spreading all over my body, and how can I not put attention? How? You must ask this question, and then you will get an answer. Have you ever asked this question to yourself? Because all of the geniuses been telling this, energy flows where attention goes. That's why we've been doing something called diversional therapy, because it's very important to divert our mind from our problem. Because every time we focus on the illness get bigger. Then it is not a woohoo language, it's a serious thing. We cannot afford to put all of our attention on our illnesses, because we know it's going to get bigger, because this is now the science, and all the geniuses talking about that. Albert Einstein is talking about that. Oprah Winfrey is talking about that. Dalai Lama is talking about that. Sadhguru is talking about that. Esther Hicks talking about that. Joel Osteen's talking about that. Even Jesus is talking about that. Put your attention on God. I think that's the most easiest thing. And that's why when people been told, okay, this is a chronic health conditions and this has been a incurable, this is terminal, been labeled by doctor, and they took a holiday and they completely healed. Or they went to prayer, they prayed that the prayer, they have done some research, and in front of this electromagnetic machine that read people's brain waves, and they've been diagnosed with the severe health conditions, and they've been told that it is incurable, can't be cured, is terminal, they've been left to die. And a group of scientists, this happened back in America, they picked few of these patients and they connected this electromagnetic machine into their brain, and they got the preacher or whoever was doing this prayer, and they prayed to this person, and it entirely lit up their subconscious mind. And in the next scan, they had no evidence of that illness that happened in an instant, and it is possible. It is possible only if you believe. If you think it's not, and you're right, I'm not arguing with you, because you're right, because that's what your reticular activating system is going to bring you, evidence after evidence after evidence, is whatever you believe, not what I believe. So that's how you heal. Divert your mind from the problem. It is not easy, because the other day I'm having like my entire body is, I thought, okay, I'm gonna die. My even throat started swelling. I didn't even have antihistamine, and I'm living in the bush. I have like 15 minutes of dirt road, like no phone. If I even call the ambulance, it takes 1 hour. By the time 1 hour happens, anything can happen, right? So the only thing that kept me from that, because the fear kills more people than the actual illness. Fear is what get us into the vasovagal attack. So you can Google, you can ask AI, it will tell you this is what is the true. There is nothing other than that. Yes, there is an illness, but when we go into the panic mode, that get worse because of our panicking, because of our fear. And it's hard not to panic. That's normal human being. But what are the tools you have? You can think, okay, I'll be fine. Nothing can kill me. That'll be the best way if you can, like my mom. And I'm also getting there. But most of the time I have to pray. I said, God, forgive me of my sins. Okay, forgiveness. Forgive me of my sins, and being grateful, I can even get up and look at the star, do some deep breathing. I'm monitoring my thoughts, but I'm thinking, yes, there is a flare-up happening in my body. How is my... Can you even bring your mind to that conscious state during the thick of the problem is the challenge. During the thick of the problem can make you or destroy you, or can help you heal completely. In the middle of the illness, can you be conscious of your thoughts, of your emotions, of your words, and then your actions will follow. But unfortunately, a lot of us take action first. That's why they cannot completely heal. But number one is to be conscious about your entire being. The only way you can do is prayer and have faith, and that will never let you down. Whatever the superpower, you will have to not have any doubt, and that is the work for you today. With that, my friend, I really enjoyed the show, and I will be recording very interesting stories for the next 3 weeks. I'll be away in Europe and Switzerland. I'm hoping to record probably insomnia. A lot of people ask me to talk about insomnia. I hear a lot of people completely heal from sleeping issues. That's the biggest problem, a catalyst for creating chronic conditions. A lot of people suffer from insomnia, and the other thing is chronic pain. See, our body can create cannabis. Why do we have cannabis receptors in our brain? Because your body is potentially create cannabis. Cannabis is a pain relief. It's a narcotic. And if you can create cannabis, you can also create a lot of pain relief. But what you have to do, you have to be in the blissful state or ecstatic state to be able to create cannabis. So your body is the strongest pain relief than anything else. I'm so grateful for the innovative pain medication that we have in our Western medicine. But at the same time, you can also tap into your own narcotics. So I'll be presenting a chronic pain, and fingers crossed, high blood pressure. A lot of people are suffering from high blood pressure, how to heal. And sometimes you cannot control high blood pressure if you have other underlying high blood pressures. Like I had, my blood pressure went to 185 something when I had autoimmune disease. So I couldn't control it up until I healed my underlying chronic health conditions. For some people it can be kidney, so there are various ones. So that's a specialty area. Again, so 3 shows, fingers crossed. Thank you so much. Good luck with your allergy. Make sure that you don't label. It's just temporary. It's there. It's just a alert button, a red light. It has to go away. It has to go away because it does not belong in your body. It's temporary. Do not take the label. Get it out of your system and pray. You can heal your allergies completely. You are listening to Healing Frequencies with Amutha Kan.
Amutha Kan, the power flows, a seed of peace within you grows. The pharmacy of soul and mind, leaving every fear behind. Every cell begins to sing to the balance that you bring.